All right, we're live. Been a busy Saturday. I don't have much time. I wanted to get my stretching routine in. Maybe hit the bag a little. Yesterday was strength and conditioning. I think we did squats and bench press. And today is flexibility and mobility. So one of the things, since I've got my injury, I've been focused more on working with other people, and I would hesitate to call myself a trainer, but I've been having a lot of fun. A couple of guys have come to me for coaching, and me being 50 years old, the question is, with having bicep surgery recently, am I going to continue to pursue the records in powerlifting at the age of 50? I'm close to Hall of Fame numbers. Ranked I was two in the world last year. Number three, 49, I was ranked third in the world. 50, I was ranked second. I don't have a ranking this year because I didn't compete because of my arm. I've lost 30 pounds. I've been focusing on Muay Thai training. So now that I'm getting back into resistance training, the question is, am I going to continue powerlifting? What am I doing? I don't know. But I can tell you what I'm doing today. Today I am working on flexibility, a little bit of physical rehab. So I firmly believe that flexibility, especially as you get into your 50s, 40s, 50s, really affects your quality of life. You know, I work commercial construction, and I see carpenters, drywall, laborers, iron workers, guys that are on their knees working, and they wear big knee pads, and it's really rough on the body. And at the end of the day, they get up, their ankles are swollen, they can hardly walk. And just being able to do something as simple as rest in the seated squat position, where I can relax. You know, if I was working on something on the ground, instead of having to be on my knees, I could literally be in the seated squat position, and I'm relaxed. This is it's something that a lot of guys, as we get older, we neglect flexibility, and just being able to simply bend over and pick something up can be a challenge to a lot of people. That and balance. So the question is where do I start? You know, I work with guys that can barely get out of their chairs, guys that have a hard time climbing stairs. Forget about climbing ladders and things of that nature. You know, they literally have to. If they drop something on the floor, it's difficult for them to pick it up. So I always say, like, start small. You know, let's say you're overweight, you're 300 pounds, and you're in your chair, and you just don't even know where to start. It could be something as simple as standing up and sitting down for sets. You know, one guy I was working with, he was 340 pounds. He had to have his chair propped up with pillows in it, so he's almost standing in it. Otherwise, he could not get out of it. That's bad. That is super bad. Now, that's an extreme case. But what I prescribed for him was really simple. He had problems with his grip. He had problems with his feet. He had edema from diabetes. So all I had him do was literally just stand up out of that chair and sit down. This. And then once he was able to do that, we lowered it. And amongst other things, got him walk around the block. It started with a walk to the driveway, seriously, like just to go get his mail. But over time, he was able to lose some weight, gain some mobility, and he was, he got a lot of functionality back in his life. But the biggest problem that I run into is people give up because they don't see immediate results. They feel like it's just too much effort. And they don't see the benefits. You know, that first day where he just sat up, got up out of his chair and sat down, then because he had not done that in so long, the next day he was super sore, like he did a set of 400-pound squats for 10. Well, yeah, I mean, your body's now going to have to adapt to the new stress you're putting on it. So taking that into consideration, it was difficult because he literally could barely do enough work to make a difference. But what I told him was, if if you commit to it, do it long enough to see the miracle, and just do it. At the end of the day, the worst you're going to get is you're going to be where you were before. So why not? I told him, give me 6 weeks, and if if you're not happy with that, you can go back to what you're doing. And before that 6 weeks was even up, I would say 2 or 3 weeks into it, once he got that nervous system going, he already had the strength to do most of the stuff I wanted him to do. It was just a matter of him reminding himself that he could do it in the first place. So, I'm going to do a basic mobility routine. Assuming most of you, I can almost do the splits. I'm 50 years old. Assuming most of you can kneel. Now, this specific stretching routine is for hips, legs, ankles, knees. I'm not doing much with the arm because I'm still rehabbing the bicep. But we're going to show you how to get some of that flexibility back so that you can get in that seated squat position, or you can do the splits eventually. It all starts with this right here. This is the beginning range of motion for most people. And we're going to simply just lean as far forward as you can and come back. This is a dynamic stretch. Some people can only get to right here. This is it. That's all they got. And that's fine. What I want you to do is push until you're uncomfortable but not painful. So right about here, I start getting into that little bit of pain in the stretch. Stop right before that. And that's what we're going to work to. So we're going to work to that. And I'm going to do probably about 5 here. And then imagine yourself like a clock. And your toes are the hands of the clock. As you move your leg out, your knees and your toes need to be pointed in the same direction. So think of it like a big circle. So I'm just going to move my foot out slightly, but I'm still pushing the hips forward. Now obviously we're going to be leaning in this direction because that's the mechanics of it. But the stretch, the pressure is going to be forward. I want to push those hips forward. I don't want to do this. I want to be here. And this is opening up the hips, stretching the rectus femoris, opening up the groin, warming up those hamstrings. And then I'm going to bring it out as far as you can in this direction. Same thing. This is the most difficult. So some guys can only get to here. Go as far as you can, focusing on pushing the hips forward. For me, I had a back injury where I lost feeling in half of my body, and I had to relearn how to walk again. So my back is all twisted up. My back is tilted. What do you call that? Pelvic tilt. Anterior. It's where the pelvis is tilted like this, and it needs to be like this. So oftentimes you'll see me kind of with my stomach sticking out. I need to correct that posture. So we're just going to do a couple of these. This is just the first warm-up. No big deal. This is a dynamic stretch. So I'm just going to where it's just like you feel it, it's uncomfortable but not painful. Push those hips through. And we're going to switch legs. Real simple. This is the beginning movement that anybody can do. This right here will help you kick higher. Just doing this. This is my basic warm-up movement that I do before anything with the heavy bag. I'm going to try to keep those knees tracking with the toes, pushing the hips. So I'm pushing this way. We'll do another set. And as you progress, you can go farther and farther out. I would say for anybody that's starting this routine, I would do 5 sets of these. I'm only going to do a couple. Just because, we want to get other movements in and I don't have a lot of time. So, there's step 1. Now, I always start my routine out with getting in the seated squat position, which some people cannot do. And then from here, I open my hips with my elbows, and I just kind of roll my hips back and forth. Move my legs out, really open those hips up. I'm almost leaning on my elbows. And I go pretty far out. A lot of people can't. If you can't get in the seated squat position, then this is kind of irrelevant. But what I like people to do is go down as far as they can and just do a few body squats. Warm that up. It's about 70 pounds here. All right. Butter boy, what's up? What time do you call this? This would be about noon for me. I don't normally get online at this time, but this is the window I have to work with, so I thought I would just hop on real quick. So after we've done that really basic stretch, this is the meat and bones of my stretching routine. I'm going to put my knees as far over my toes as I can, focusing on trying to keep my foot as flat to the ground as possible. I want to try to touch my heel to my butt. Most people can't do this, including me. I am not there yet. But I want to put weight. I'm trying to flatten this, so I'm compressing downwards. Just try to relax into this. Let gravity sink your foot to the ground. You can get so the farther over your toes you get, the more your heel's going to raise, which is why squatters use shoes with a heel on them. This is really good for anybody that's a high bar squatter or an Olympic lifter. Most people are limited by their knee and ankle mobility. From here, I'm going to open the hips and stretch over. Now for anybody that can't do this, you can simply just put your elbow inside of your knee and push out. So if this is your range of motion and you can't get into that position, you can work on it by pushing outwards and then slowly over time getting your hips closer to the ground. But for me, I want the long hand to stretch over, and I'm focusing on opening the hips, where the femur goes into the labrum. Now normally if I'm not on camera, I usually try to do these for 30 seconds each. But because you guys would be bored watching me sit here for 30 seconds, I'm only going to do like 10. And from here, I stretch out as far as I can. Now, for some people, that's going to look like this. That's fine. Again, you go to where it's uncomfortable but not painful for 30 seconds, and then take a deep breath, and then go farther. Exhale into it. Hold that for 30 seconds. Go a little farther. 3 times. 3 times is pretty good each time. Every time you stretch, you want to go a little bit farther than you did the last time. But 3-4 times is about the most you want to do in a day to avoid injury. For me, same thing, knees over toes, use my weight, try to press my heel to my butt as close as I can get it. Over time, go a little bit farther out. Really just try to relax into it. This is to stretch that ankle. We want to get ankle mobility. Over time, you can try to get closer to the ground. Reach over. rolling the joint softly. Trying to get a little bit farther each time. To make it more difficult, you can bring your leg up. That's how you progress. So this is the easiest, obviously. It gets harder the more farther out you go. Just kind of go to where it's uncomfortable and not painful. And then you feel all that stretching. The piriformis, the gluteus minimus, the connection point to the hamstrings. Ooh. Just relax into it. My ankles don't slide on these pads very well, so I kind of got to inch them out. Another thing you can do if you want to stretch the hamstrings, flex the leg and just sink into it. It stretches all that out. Now from there, we're going to go into what I call the stripper stretch. Bring your knees out and your legs 90 degrees. Try to stretch as far as you can. And we're going to sink into it. We're going to come forward and flat. So this rolls the joint of the femur in the labrum. If you have any impingements, you'll feel them here. And this is a dynamic stretch. So you push into it. Over time, you can try to get flatter. All right, where's my water? All right. Just Wonder Boy today. It's gonna be a quiet stream. How you doing, brother? Normally I have somebody that's either, at this point, they say my shorts are gay, or what the hell am I watching, or I don't have any comments today. All right, so I guess I will just continue. So, the next is, we've all seen this one, elbows to knees. Now, for some people, it might look like this, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to push our legs out, and we're doing like a good morning. So the back should be straight, almost arched, and we're leaning into it. And then you want to try to push out and stretch. For me, I got a better range of motion. So I'm going to, I'm rolling my legs out this way. I'm going to push into it. So I'm pushing out with my arms. And you can try to roll your legs a little. Just doing that, rolling your ankles, keeping your legs straight. Just pinning your legs keeps them from sliding, essentially, because otherwise you can't progress. And doing this 2-3 times a week, you'll gain a massive amount of mobility back. I would say 4 weeks for most people. Now, a lot of people don't care if they can do the splits or not. Fair enough. Now, from there, I'm going to try to roll the joints. So, like, I want to be able to roll the legs. So I'm going to stretch over with my offhand. Feel that pull right in there. This is where it's dangerous. If you push too far, you can pull your hamstring. So just go to where it's uncomfortable but not painful. Just relax into it. Most people are right here, or not, not wherever your range of motion is. It doesn't matter. The idea is you want to be able to progress. Once you're in the position you want to be in, relax. Try not to tense up. Then we'll roll to the other side. Most people have one side that's better than the other. That's completely normal. For me, I'm more flexible on this side than I'm on that side. You want to have that mobility in your joints. A lot of people, I know a lot of guys that can do the splits, but they still can't kick very high because they have an impingement depending on what direction their hips are in. So it's important to work the whole range of motion. And then the old saying, what goes up must come down. So bring it in. See, if I'm totally relaxed, see how much my knee is over my toes? The idea is you want to be able to sit flat. So press down a little and just relax. And if you can't sit Indian style, just try to bring your legs wherever you can. Like this was my starting position when I first started doing these. And the first thing I did was just work on getting my ankles as close to my butt as I could. And then over time, I was able to then overlap. And sometimes you do have to manhandle yourself a little bit to get in position. That's what getting older means. Young kids can just get into this. Old men, they gotta like pull their leg over. So now we were talking about ankle mobility earlier. How you want to be able to get your ankle as close to your butt as you can, where I put all my weight over. So now we're going to actually work on strengthening the ankles. This is a fun one. Get into as much of a seated squat position as you can, and we're going to raise our ankles. Now the goal is to try to get up on your big toe. The big toe, with your balls, your feet off the ground. You're using your entire body weight and working those calves, but you're also stretching the what is that, the tibialis? We want to roll the ankles. So if I work construction, and one of the most common injuries is rolling your ankle. You're working on uneven surfaces, rocks, walking on dirt. And a lot of guys roll their ankles even if they're wearing high top leather boots. Like a lot of guys will roll their ankles, they got those boots on, and it won't really swell up or hurt until they get home and take them off. Well, just doing this a couple times a week will really bulletproof those ankles and make them resilient. We're looking for the flexibility, so if you did roll your ankle, you actually have the inbuilt flexibility to not tear those ligaments and tendons. And we just do these, like if you were doing them at home, just do them until failure, which might look like, I don't know, I guess for me it'd be like 20 or 30. Summer 5, hell yeah, Dennis King. Stretching his bussy out, hell yeah. I have to, man. Those once you burn your ankle or calves out, it takes a minute. If you do them right, you won't be able to walk for a minute. Whew. I'm out of breath just doing that. Now, here in my routine, I usually like to do like a set of pistol squats. But if you don't wait, you won't have the balance to do it. You know, you don't have to do these. This isn't really part of the mobility, but I'm trying to get better at them. These are super difficult for me. Balance. If you have to use your hand to brace on something, there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like if you have to do that, it's not a real squat. Now, for you young kids, this is probably like not an issue. But any of my older guys knows balance is tricky. If you want the hardest version of the squat, put your ankle across your knee. This stretches out your hamstrings. Try to squat in this position. I haven't quite mastered it yet, but I'm getting better. Oh man. Now one side's always better than the other. Whew. What was it, Trayvon Peterson? Yeah, you know, I got the strength is there. I mean, I could squat 600 pounds. Well, since the surgery, I might iron. Before I had my bicep surgery in March, I hit 600 pounds for a set of 5, and I was at 230 pounds. I've dropped down to 200, and I've been doing a lot of, I had a bicep reattachment surgery, so I've been focusing on mobility and you know, trying to get light on my feet. And I've been noticing that balance is a problem. So like doing pistol squats, like this isn't heavy. It's just I can't. My balance sucks. If I put my squat shoes on, I could do these a lot better. Actually, you know what? Let me throw them on. Let me put my money where my mouth is. Having that heel, which raises your ankles up, and then of course the super flat, hard soles of these. So you know, a lot of guys my age can't even do that. They can't even put their shoes on without sitting down. And that's not talking shit. It's something that I'm trying to get through to guys my age. That if they start small, within a short period of time, you can get that mobility back. You might not, maybe you can't do the splits, but you'll be able to sit in the squat position. See, yeah, that's a lot easier. Isn't it amazing how just something as simple as putting on shake your hand. No, don't lose it. There we go. Shit. There we go. Oh, Oh, that burns right there. Man, that is straight up quads. This is a dual threat here because this also stretches out your hips. Ah, shit. Whew. All right. Oh, thank you. See, yo, man. Yo, ma'am. Your mama. Your mama is so big. I need glasses, sorry. That's a great name. Thank you, I appreciate that. What's up, Bobby? Bobby, for anyone that doesn't know, Bobby Bobbio was my training partner for 3 years. And you ignore my nickname, please. No, your nickname's awesome. Where Bobby and I are going to be collaborating again here in some capacity. I'm not sure what that looks like yet. It depends on the. I was saying earlier, now that my arm's healing, I don't. Do I go right back into powerlifting? Get back on the sauce, bulk up, start lifting heavy again? Or do I focus on Muay Thai for a few months, work on mobility? So yesterday we did squats, and I think I did a set of 315 for like 12. So I don't intend to lose strength, but there's a difference between doing maintenance lifting, like say you're a 400-pound bencher. So you just, work up to 80% of that. That's not hard. I don't know. So when you train for powerlifting, getting ready for competition, the difference between normal power building, bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever, is that RPE. The intensity goes up way higher, and you're literally walking that razor's edge to where you could one false step and you can injure yourself. But we try to, that's where form and the attention to detail mitigates those risks, and it also helps to have like people that train with you so they can kind of, like if you're a guy like me that always wants to do everything, having a voice of reason saying, hey, back off, you've done enough for today. And at a glance, if you're just watching videos, you might say, well, it looks the same. It looks like you're training as normal, but it's not. That difference between pushing 600 pounds for doubles or triples or 600 pounds for a set of 5, like, that's enormous. How much creatine do you take? Putty Cat, I actually haven't really been taking anything lately. I'm on testosterone, but that's about it. For surgery, I got off everything. I don't want to say I'm natural, but I'm at a really, really low dose, and I've just sort of been cruising. I dropped 30 pounds, and I've noticed how much lighter on my feet I am. And there's a part of me that wants to stay at this weight and then just get stronger at 200. But I would be a liar if I didn't say that I missed the way. You walk in a room at 230 and you're just yoked out. People just treat you differently. And it's hard, that can become addictive. Unicorn Ninja in the house. All right, so where were we? Oh, yeah, so horseshoe squats. These are really good for the hips. I'm going to try to point your feet perfectly. It would be 180 degrees. But as far as you can get, I just want to opening the hips up. you take collagen? Um, Not currently, but yeah, I was actually supplementing collagen peptides uh, and glucosamine too. I think that works really well for older lifters that have arthritis. And every look, even I have arthritis. Like even if it's minimal, you're not going to be a 50-year-old without some arthritis somewhere. Whew. But the number one thing for mitigating arthritis is mobility. And the number one reason why people don't do mobility work is because arthritis. The arthritis hurts, so they don't do the work, and then it gets worse. Unicorn Ninja. I'm always impressed how you do a lot of mobility sporting. Yeah, you know what? For me, it was really well, part of me is that 14-year-old that still wants to be able to do the splits like Jean-Claude Van Damme. But I noticed that just being able to comfortably sit in the seated squat position increased the quality of my life exponentially. It's just like everything from just being able to bend over and pick something up, tying your shoes, working. You know, if I'm working on something outside, I can just kind of sit down there and whatever. I don't have to kneel. I'm always in a strong, stable position. Like when you're doing construction, just you see these guys with knee pads on, and they're doing drywall. They're gonna get up and they come back down, and it's awkward. And at the end of the day, their ankles are swollen, their knees hurt, and it's real. But just being able to like comfortably, I could just fall asleep like this. Just being able to do this, but it trickles over into everything. I mean, we don't realize, like, just getting in and out of bed, sitting in chairs, driving, all the stuff we do, we're forced into a seated position, and we're there for an extended period of time. Your body, like, starts to ossify. It's really bad. It cuts your circulation off, especially for older people, and if they have, like, people that are diabetic, where they get swollen ankles, like edema real bad. Your legs, think of it like these are like a second heart. Every time you flex these muscles, it's pumping fluids back up. Which is why when you see like people that are overweight with diabetes, when they're sitting for long periods of time, their ankles are swollen and they have these little spots. Even I have a little bit of them. That's dried blood that's been pushed to the skin because your circulation's cut off and it has nowhere to go. And you'll see this commonly with older people that do a lot of driving, sit in an office all day, or just lead a sedentary lifestyle. Georgie, what's up, brother? So what do? Like when you notice that, if you start noticing that your ankles are swollen after sitting, that should set alarms off. Is it the end of the world? Does it mean you're going to die? No, but that's a big sign that your body's not functioning correctly. George, I've never blocked you. I know. I find it weird though. Like you always start the conversation off with, I don't know, this. It's like you're saying how edgy you are and how everybody blocks you. And you've literally been talking to me for how long now? How long have we been interacting? Like, are you telling me this stuff or are you telling the people in the chat that don't know you? You look way smaller. Yeah, I dropped 30 pounds. I was at 230 pounds when I had surgery and now I'm at 200. Ugh. This is where I have issues. There. Whew. In case you didn't know, you didn't need that guy to spot you yesterday. Yeah, it's all good. William Mendez says he's not to be fucked with. Right on. Eyeball, mouth, eyeball. Some guy farting? Let's see. C Shaps 10 says Diddy. Not sure what that means. My injury happened when you were putting time out. Injury happened March 9th. What were you, time out? What were you putting time out for? Did your buddy yesterday get sore? Yeah, well, he's actually, we worked out a couple of times off camera, and I asked him if he wanted to be on a stream. I was just going to try it out just to see how the flow went. I wasn't too super happy with it. George says, I'm not gay. George, well, okay. Are you having an aneurysm? Are you having a stroke? Like, why did you feel it was important to point that out? I love you, George. I'm still trying to figure you out. George has been commenting on my streams for, I don't know, how many months now? And it's always about either something to do with gay. And I'm not certain what he's trying to convey. I don't know if he's calling me gay or I don't know. George, I don't care. I don't care. I don't know you. It's so fucking weird, man. We can be we can be on a topic in an in-depth discussion, and George pops on with it and just like totally hijacks the conversation. And I never know what to say because all of his comments are exactly the same. I don't want to ignore you, but at the same time, I don't want to acknowledge you either. Unicorn Ninja, that kind of unsolicited information is telling. Yeah, it's funny. He's always talking about like my shorts, and they are pretty short. I'll admit that, which I obviously don't care about. But if these are actual Kill Crew. They're a combat sports fashion outfitter, and these are their Muay Thai shorts. Should I get a landmine squat attachment or a safety squat bar? Ooh. I don't know. I'm a really big fan of the landmine, especially for conditioning, but I think you could get more mileage out of the safety squat bar. My ex blew himself away in front of me last week, 2 hours, one of the 21 vets a day. I won't be around you too much. Semper Fi. Wow, Maggie. That's I don't know what to say. That's, I mean, if there's anything I can do for you, I mean, you could always reach out. probably a conversation we don't want to have in a live stream. So I don't. I don't know what to tell you. That's tough. I always feel bad for the person who has to live through that. So not necessarily. I don't know. Just if there's anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out to me. What do you eat on cheat day, Putty Cat? I don't have a cheat day. I do what's called 80-20. So 80% good, 20% bad, that kind of thing. And I do intermittent fasting, so my eating window is usually about 6 hours. And in that eating window, I don't really have food I can't have. I just have a caloric intake limit. So like right now, my caloric intake limit is about 3,500 calories. So what are those calories? Can I eat a bunch of Snickers bars? Yeah, you can, but you're gonna feel like shit the next day. So I don't really do the cheat meal thing. I think the cheat meal concept is I don't know. There's something about it that bothers me. It's like giving you permission to, like, people have bad relationships with food, and once you turn food into a reward, that's where eating disorders start. And for me, it's just food is food. You can have whatever you want. Just watch how much you eat. For me, it's more of a physics thing than it is a. Thank you, my friend, for not blocking me here like every other channel does. So here we go again, George. You've said this how many times? Who are you? Are you telling me this? Or are you telling the chat this? I've never blocked you. I don't care. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're straight. I don't give a shit. Like, it doesn't bother me. I don't care. I'm married with kids. I've been with my wife 14 years. You guys can call me whatever you want. I don't give a shit. I am secure with my sexuality. I obviously don't care about what people say about the clothes I wear. Have you ever seen me change them? I don't give a shit. Smart gamer, where are you at? Oh, yeah, I wanted to call you after the stream. Yeah, I think Georgie's comments are more for himself than anyone else. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he thinks that I'm bothered by it. I don't care. I mean, I'll laugh. I mean, he says something funny and we'll laugh about it. 112. All right. Shit. I don't have much time left. I mean, what was I gonna do? So I did horseshoe squats, did my stretching routine, did that. And I don't know where. I don't know when I can start hitting the bag again. Because of the bicep. When you do hooks, it puts a lot of stress on the bicep. So I don't know. I have my doctor's appointment on the 3rd, and he's going to okay me for whatever the next level of resistance training I can do. I was messing around with the parallel bars just to kind of see how much pressure I can put on the arm. But the problem is like if I was down here and the bicep, let's say, had a problem, I'm just gonna crash. So I don't know. I don't feel any problems with it. I can. One of my arms are locked out. I'm just. I guess I'm hesitant. I don't know what to do. You get a haircut. I cut my own hair. I'm cheap. I guess I could. I don't know. I can't wait to start going to training again. I gotta wait for clearance though. Cutting your own hair lets you do it exactly how you want. Yeah, but it's hard to get the back. Yeah, Credence, what's up? Yeah, quick update. What do you got? Oh, hey, what's up, Max? Looks like you hit and kicked really hard. Well, I haven't thrown any strikes in a while because bicep surgery. Bro, what's wrong with you? Where do I start? What are you looking at? Let's get your opinion. How have you been? I'm doing all right. He says, "What's wrong with me? What's right with me?" I don't know. I had a pretty good bowel movement this morning. Woke up early. I think I'm doing okay. What is my current max bench press? Oh, I have no idea. I haven't benched since surgery. I mean, I've done like some real lightweight stuff. So the problem is when you get your bicep surgery, it's reattached to the ulnar. You can't have any weight on the eccentric because you could literally. That's takes 6 months until that's fully fused. So what they do is they drill a hole, pull the tendon through. There's a little pin on it, so it locks in, and then they have this weave, this sewing weave that goes up the tendon, and it'll fuse to the bone. And once it's fully healed, it'll actually be stronger than the original tendon connection point. But until that is fully healed, you run the risk of pulling that out. So you can't do curls, you can't do anything that puts weight on the eccentric. Now I'm 3 months, 2 weeks out of surgery, so I've been cleared to do light resistance training. So I've been starting to do like curls, and yesterday I did some really lightweight bench press. I think 135 pounds. But I won't. I mean, it'll be a while before. I don't know. I got my doctor's appointment on Monday, so he'll check and see what he'll clear me to progress to the next level. I hate to. I feel like I could go. I feel like I could just start training, but I don't want to do anything that risks injuring it again, for obvious reasons. I have a crazy story about how I'm connecting my city council to help me get my school district. Oh, nice. That's a conversation we're having off. I write my letter and someone state there on my side. That's awesome. How has your injury affected your abilities at your job much? No. No, as far as work is concerned, no. I'm a glorified babysitter, so I don't need the arm for anything. It just sucks because like I want to start lifting again, and I wish you weren't old and falling apart, Georgie. Thanks. Georgie, I don't know. If people make weird comments like, George, I don't know anything about you, but what level of physical training have you achieved? Like, where are you at? Doritos. I get weird comments from guys that aren't, no disrespect, they've never come within half of what I've been able to achieve physically. Jen, why do we only ever have Democrats and Republicans going for president? Well, I don't really want to turn this into, I mean, we actually studied this, a political science, the third party dilemma. Essentially, what tends to happen is, because they can't ever get enough of the vote to give them an honest chance of winning, they tend to absorb their voting base, depending on whether they lean liberal or conservative. They tend to rob, so if a libertarian runs for president, he's going to rob most of his votes from what would be considered the conservative base. So it because the libertarian has zero chance of winning, it actually lowers the chance of the Republican winning because they're taking his votes, and it increases the chance of the. I mean, that's a real gross simplification of it, but it's a dilemma. Honestly, I don't know. We'd have to have I could do a stream just on that by itself. How the two-party system got locked in and why we'll never have a three-party system. Technically, any party can run. You don't have to. You can run as an independent. But why don't they ever get media coverage? Why don't they ever have primaries? Why don't they have the organizations and the backups of the? It's complicated. Unicorn Ninja. Thank you. I don't know. Love the movie Teen Wolf. Teen Wolf was cool. I have nothing else here, but I will pray for Maggie. God bless. See you, Max. Appreciate it. You want to see me throw some more kicks before you leave? I'll give you one real powerful one. See if I can pull it off here. Let's see, who would be my opponent? Try to think of like a Canadian maybe. He's like, I'll kick your ass, you hoser, you hurt my clothes. And I'm like, oh no. I'll give him a little tease, just like right in the ribs, just like. Yeah, that would break some ribs. Dean, greetings from Germany. Actually, I probably want to aim that. If I wanted to be a malicious dickhead, I'd aim that right here at the knee. But you're generally not trying to end people's career. Most people, when they're sparring or fighting, they don't generally speaking, they stay away from strikes that'll cripple people. Because you mentioned I weigh 200 pounds, and if I threw that with all my intention and I hit somebody if you're in a boxing stand, most people that aren't trained to fight are going to try to square up on you like this. And they got all their weight on their front foot. Or they're doing that puffed up chest thing, what you going to do, bro? And if I just bam, right, right in there, you're fucking done, dude. You're not going to be able to walk right for years. Do you ever get pissed off how people from both sides are advocating and professing for certain things in this country that require taxpayer money? I would say most of the talking heads on television are not only ill-informed, they haven't thought their side through, they have not thought the opposing viewpoint through at all, and they don't understand where funding for anything comes from. So they're not even thinking about taxpayer money. And most people that, this is a gross generalization, but it's been my observation that most liberals don't understand that the money this country gets comes from people that produce things. They either provide a service, they produce a product, they do something, they go to work, they make something, they make money. That money then gets taken by the government to pay for whatever. And then they get money from the government. They don't understand that the more you take from the people that produce, the less incentive those people that produce have to produce things. And after a while, they're not going to do it. And then where are they going to get their money from? Even just practicing on a punching bag puts you so much ahead of the average person in skills. Dude, I'm ready to go. I just don't know how much I can do. I don't know how much it's appropriate for me to do. I kick hard like you do. Nice. Like, I don't know. I was just like the other day. I was just doing like timing drills where he's like, get the body going back and forth. Keep the pendulum going. I gotta clean my garage. Go back and forth. But see, I'm not really striking the bag. I'm just moving, just getting the body moving. Lewis and 1368. Float like a bull and kick like a kangaroo. Well, I've noticed like the one cool thing about slimming down is when I was 230, I couldn't leave my feet. So just doing something like a T, and then I couldn't do that. Wow. Anyway, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Baby steps. Do you think my school attendance policy is BS like I do? They say if you reach 9 absences, you don't get credit. Yeah, Lewis, I dropped 30 pounds. So I would say, like when I went to college, I was going to get failed because of attendance, and I had a 3.8 GPA. Now, my argument was, I'm paying you for this knowledge. I'm paying you with my money. So if I pass the test, what do I need to be in class for? But in school, part of the curriculum is the discipline required to show up and be where you're supposed to be. So you got to look at it more like you're not just going to school. Like going to school is part of it. You know, like fitting into a system. Now, I don't agree with the system, but that is the system's curriculum, and that is what they're trying to impart on you, the discipline to show up and be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And a lot of kids don't get that. They don't get the accountability that comes with it. They think that, well, if I got the knowledge and I'm passing the tests, but you're not. You're missing the second part of it is socializing, being able to perform in a system, a hierarchy, and you know, that's part of it. But they also don't really explain that either. Now, I don't agree with the school system. I'm against it personally for a lot of reasons. Um, and I'm not arguing for or against it. I'm just saying that's what the system is. And if you're not participating, then you're not completing the requirements. Uh, and it makes sense because if you look at our school system as right after World War II, what were they trying to do? They were trying to teach middle class and poor Americans to be cogs in a larger machine, which is industry. So what does that entail? It means you got to show up and you got to do X amount of whatever for this amount of time, and then you get paid this amount of money. And the big part of it was, they needed people. They needed people to be there on time, working, doing what they were supposed to be doing, and they needed people that were smart enough to be able to solve complex problems that the the scale of industry had evolved into. So they weren't looking for just like dumb factory workers that could put a peg in a hole. They were looking for guys that had like real low engineering skills and could, solve math problems, whatever level of expertise they were at. Like you weren't just a dumb factory worker. You had to be able to solve problems, and then they were, it was so they wanted. It was more to that. They were also trying to cultivate a hierarchical structure that rewarded people with an elevated position of authority, but within the constraints of the hierarchy, which essentially still kept you in that little box, but it provided the illusion of accomplishment. Um, Man, I don't like. I could have a whole stream about this because now we're getting into a different thing of the brainwashing of Middle America that happened since World War II, the Prussian school system, and I was vehemently against the Department of Education, and I'm glad to see that Trump's getting rid of that. Because how could your government possibly know what the needs of Delphine are in Henderson, Nevada? When they're all the way in Washington, and the whole No Child Left Behind thing. It's like instead of demanding more, they just lowered the standards, and even that failed because they started basing the funding for schools off of test scores. So now they're not teaching kids stuff; they're just teaching them how to pass tests. And there's literally kids, 13, 14 years old that don't know how to read. It just blows me away. Like kids, they're not teaching anymore. I don't want to get started on this subject. I digress. But the answer to your question is you showing up is part of it. So if you're not showing up, then you're failing to do your part. Long story short. Or take an online course during the summer and pay $700. Yeah, that's a hell of a consequence, though. I mean, not only is that taking time, like for me, I hated school with a passion. I did everything I could to not be there, and I had this militant drill instructor named Mrs. Millman, and she would literally drive and go find me and make me go to school. And my senior year, I had to sit in a room with other degenerates, and these were people that had learning disabilities or they were criminals, like the people that you didn't want in the population of the school. And I'm in there, and I have like this whole pile of homework, and she would sit there and watch me do it. And she says, "You need to do everything in this pile, and if you can do it all, we can graduate you." And I did not have a senior year. That's because I didn't go to school. I hated every minute of it. Um, Conversely, after the military, when I went to college on my own, I chose to go. I had a 3.8 GPA because I was motivated. I wanted to be there. So that was the big difference. Is I had a reason to be there. I needed to learn what I was going to school for, and it was going to directly affect what I was doing for a living, which is chemical engineering. Um, but no, when I was in high school, I thought it was like slavery. Like I could, I'm like thinking like I didn't ask for this shit. Like why are you forcing me to do this bullshit? Um, I'm 50 years old, Lewis. No, I'm not gonna homeschool Delphine. I would love to, but it's not that simple. Who is this? Why is my mouse not working? What the hell? Babe, is that? I think we got a fake profile here. Let me refresh this. My laptop's not working. What the hell? Huh. I can no longer select profiles. Well, that sucks. I wonder why. Let's see. Top chat. Timestamps, reaction, pop out, send feedback. Huh. So that is you. Okay. I can't select profiles anymore. I wonder why that is. Oh, here we go. So they changed it. I'm looking at my wife's description on her channel. It says 5'9", 5'9" of terror on stilettos. I'm married to the most ornery, annoying, needy, and transgressive Marine, Gen X power, that ever crawled out of a nasty swamp. So there's literally nothing you could possibly challenge me with that I wouldn't own and laugh in the face of your attempts. I am an exotic beauty and I bring light to the darkness. Revel in my grandeur. It's written by me. I forgot. I put that on there as a joke. uh, it's true, though. All right, guys. Yeah, well, yeah, hell yeah, I used to watch wrestling when I was younger. The main reason I'm contacting councilman is because my school is committing wrongful accreditation discrimination. Yes, that I agree with. Um, all right, guys, I'm gonna get off. I don't know. I always get to this point. I want to start drilling on the heavy bag, but then I don't know if I can. I really want to throw the gloves on and just start going at it. I'll see you guys later. I gotta get to work. Call me like you said you would, motherfucker. Yeah, I'll give you a call. It's gonna be a bit though. I love you guys. I'll see you on the battlefield.